What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Good Success Podcast. I'm your host, Josh Gohlar, and we are Facebook Live again on this beautiful Friday. Today, I have Abhi Golhar with me. What's up, man? How's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
Fantastic. Just going to be better. But anyway, I mean, you are seriously like the person that I needed to get on the live stream, and we finally got you. Like, I've been trying for forever, and then finally when we were at Think Realty in Dallas, I was like, dude, let's just schedule this.
Let's do it.
We need to get this done. So anyway, I'm going to have Abhi introduce himself in just a second, but you guys are watching Facebook Live right now. You guys, I see the likes and the hearts coming through, so make sure you do that. Leave a comment below if you guys have any questions for either myself or Abhi, and then we're going to be linking everything along the way as we actually get into introducing him and everything. So all of his websites, the radio shows that he does, his YouTube channel, and all that stuff will be linked below as we mention it. So before we get into our interview with him, so guys, our Good Success Mastermind is coming up in May 9, 10, and 11, and it is going to be in Chicago, Illinois. So make sure you guys sign up for that. If you are interested, go to goodsuccess.com/mastermind. We don't just accept everybody. You have to fill out an application. We do vet your numbers and the volume that you're doing in your business, but we also vet character and what type of person you are and all that good stuff. We don't just let anybody in there, comes in beating their chest and all that good stuff. Make sure you go check it out, goodsuccess.com/mastermind. You can find out more information there. And then something else that we actually just started announcing a little bit more is our Community Go-Giver event. That's happening way off in the summer, but we do have tickets going on right now, and they are discounted at an early bird price. It's called the Community Go-Giver event. Basically, we bring in everybody around our community. We have our office that's located in Gary, Indiana, the good part of Gary, Indiana. So we will have everybody here. Abhi's laughing right now. So I have to say that every time, man. The good part of Gary, Indiana. There is good parts, I promise. There really is. But anyway, so guys, the Community Go-Giver event, go to communitygogiver.com. We will have it linked below for you guys to go check that out. We have a enormous list of people that are going to be speaking there. It is going to be an all-star cast that's going to be there. We have Walter Wofford going to be there, Jim Ingersoll, Gary Harper, Jeffrey Taylor, Ken Lacey, Sean Waddle, Sean, Abhi, and just like a bunch of other people are going to be there. We aren't announcing everybody just yet. We're kind of announcing them in waves. But you guys, it's going to be a stacked lineup. We're super excited about it. It's going to be 100% educational. We're not going to be standing up on these stages and selling stuff. That's not what's happening here. It's all education stuff for investors trying to build their community, whether it's actually geographically building them or with your network. There's going to be huge networking possibilities at this event. And for the price, you can't bargain with that. So go check it out, communitygogiver.com. We'll have it linked below for you guys. It's July 25, 26, and 27. And that's it. So let's go ahead and get into this, man. So Abhi,
let's do it.
We had some collaborations with you. I know I've talked to you a few times, and you guys are in for a real treat today with Abhi. He's a very knowledgeable real estate investor. He knows his game, and even the game that's like kind of outside of what he actually does in the spectrum. Just a very knowledgeable, intelligent person. And we enjoy having the relationship with him that we have. So Abhi, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do, because I know you do everything. Like that's the running joke between. I know that you met Kevin at the Dallas event. We're like, what does Abhi do? Like,
I don't even know at this point. Like, it's interesting. And then you and I have a good time face to face in Dallas.
Yeah.
And then you're like, man, you're not doing enough. I'm like, come on. Like that's not fair, bro. Like, how does that work? And then, no, seriously, I still have notes somewhere with your name on them. They're like here somewhere. And it's like, Josh says to do this and do this. And here's how
I gave him a long list of things to do.
Yeah, we had that 1 hour breakfast meeting, and it drove me absolutely crazy. And I left Dallas. I'm like, I'm done. Like, this is.
And then I got an email 2 days ago saying, "Help me! What am I supposed to do with this?"
Yeah, no, seriously. I'm getting this information. I'm thinking to myself, I don't know how to do this, and I'm throwing my pen around, and my whatever. Like, it doesn't matter anymore. This is all crap. I did lose my pen, but essentially, to answer your question, I'm Abhi Golhar. I have a daily radio show called Think Realty Radio. and that's based, I think in now 12, 13, 14 different cities across the country. All I do is talk about real estate investing. Here locally though, in Atlanta, I do invest in real estate. I'm buying single family rentals, raising capital for multifamily apartment complex acquisition, and buy and hold is the way to go for me, baby. I like the occasional flip. Don't get me wrong. If I'm bored, I like doing that. I think it's fun. I think it works. But I think there's certain challenges that many people have that they need to get over the hump of only considering, say, the live-in flips or the flipping game or even wholesaling to help them get to that next level. And that's what I love talking about on the show as well. I love covering different topics, whether it's business turnaround, how do you build a business inside of real estate, inside the investing career, I guess, instead of building a job for yourself. So that's a really big challenge that I know a lot of flippers, wholesalers have as well. And
don't give away too much on that, because that's one of our questions. So
yeah, for sure. That's hence the pause.
Yeah.
I'm an investor. I love talking about real estate. I love doing stuff like this. I think what you guys are doing at Good Success is awesome, man. I mean, keep up the great work. You are definitely in the right company of awesome investors and just business people in general. So anybody listening to this as well, follow Josh, follow what he's doing, follow Good Success, and join him. If you can't beat him, join him, right? So just do that. Stay plugged into the right information, because the more information that you have, the right information that you have, and you surround yourself with the right people, you ultimately also become successful.
Awesome. And that's like the bottom line for everybody that we interview, is like getting connected with people that are like at the level that you want to be. And so that's awesome that we hear that from everybody. So that's something that if you're listening right now, you got to do that. But Abhi, can you talk a little bit about your companies? So I know that you're affiliated with Think Realty. That's kind of where you and I met. And you run their daily radio show, which is totally awesome. If you guys haven't heard it, we'll actually have Tom's linked below. We had Tom Olson, the president of Good Success, on the show with Abhi there, and Kevin's going to link it below right now. So tell us a little bit about the affiliations you have with the businesses that you not just run, but you also do side work with as well. So.
Yeah, great question. So as you know, Think Realty, I'm a coach for Think Realty, and I also run the daily radio show. That's a lot of fun. I remember the one conversation that I had with Eddie, who's the CEO of Affinity Worldwide. He's like, hey, we'll do a radio show. And I'm like, all right, cool, let's do that. And we do a little bit of prep. And then I say, Eddie, you could talk about a whole lot of things. What do you want to talk about? And he says, oh, whatever. I'm like, so you want me to put 43 minutes of radio content together on that one word, whatever. And so we did. And so that was really fun. I enjoy using this weird kind of quirky personality that I have to help encourage people to invest, because it's not as hard as everybody makes it out to seem. And it's just taking that one step at a time. I have a real estate investment company here in Atlanta called Summit Crowne. And through that, I do a lot of investing myself. So whether it's a single family rental, whether it's the syndication of multifamily apartment complexes, we've done currently 43, 44 to date. My team and I we control about 2,500 units here in the Southeast. So it's a blast, man. I mean, we really do the best that we can to impact our communities, whether it's teaching them financial literacy, et cetera. So that's a lot of fun for us as well. And that's pretty much it. I have a little thing called Real Estate Deal Talk. So I have a little blog myself. If you check it out, realestatedealtalk.com. But like, it's just my way of being quirky and putting out the information out there as well. So like you said, I'm kind of all over the place, but apparently not as much all over the place as I need to be. And,
not yet. You will be though.
Yeah, I just found out I have a Wikipedia page. How cool is that?
What? That's awesome.
Yeah, I had no idea. I'm like, hey, this helps.
Did somebody write that about you then?
I think so. And then,
like a super fan or something like that?
Must have been super fan or like somewhat stockish fan, because I'm like, wow, born in Kalamazoo, here's my birth date.
Everything's accurate. That's awesome.
Yeah, everything's
so
super
funny.
accurate.
Oh, well, awesome. So we're going to have all that linked below, especially for his Real Estate Deal Talk show. You guys will have that actually pinned to the top. So Kevin, if you could do that real quick. And then everything else that he's mentioned, we'll have linked below. So you guys could get to know Abhi a little bit and a little bit more of what he does and look into his businesses. And like I said, I've had some communication with Abhi, and he's just a down-to-earth person, connects with people very well. We actually, in our 1 hour breakfast meeting, we actually talked about how I told you, I'm like, you need to connect with millennials so much more than what you're doing. Like, it's something that's going to happen. It's because because of the personality that he has, it's just such welcoming person. So, but like I said, super knowledgeable. So that's fantastic. All right. So tell us a little bit about what you do on the show for your real estate deal talk, and then also about the Think Realty radio show. So I know you went into both of those just a little bit. If you could go into a little bit more granular details about what's on the platforms and what people can expect if they actually go to the platforms.
Yeah, absolutely. So Think Realty Radio, it's a daily radio show, which Tom was on it, Eddie's on. I mean, we have so many awesome people on it.
Oh yeah, it's been a stacked lineup lately. It's pretty
Holy
good.
cow. I remember there was one guy, Doug Duncan. He's the chief economist at Fannie Mae. Okay.
Yeah.
And his interview to me was hilarious. And we talk about everything. We talk about case studies on real estate projects, where the market is, what strategies that it makes sense to deploy right now. If the market's hot, if the market's not, what markets are hot, why, who, what, where, when. I mean, you talk about the exact like line by line item that you need to know before you go into a market. We talk about that. Any strategy that makes sense. Wholesaling, we talk about flipping, buying and hold, single family rental, multifamily, small units, large units, turnaround, business turnaround, technology, CRMs.
That's a lot of information.
It's a lot of information. So you can check that out, thinkrealtyradio.com. And then on my YouTube channel, I have a weekly YouTube show called the Real Estate Deal Talk Show. And I answer 5 questions that I get on social every week. And that's on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, through email, whatever. And I get a lot of awesome, very interesting questions, whether it's, hey, I'm a college student and I don't really know how to invest. I have a little bit of money saved up and I got a job recently. Should I save up a little bit more money? And should I maybe wholesale first? Or should I do a flip? Or should I do like a live-in flip where I buy a duplex and live in another side and rent a side out and pay my mortgage kind of that way? All the way to a pro real estate investor who's thinking about doing, instead of 10 flips a year, maybe doing 20, 30 flips a year and adding a passive income component to that as well. So that's something else that we talk about, and the questions that I answer. So it ranges, man. I mean, it ranges from noob questions to super crazy, complicated questions to interest rate questions to where we are in the economy. And it's just kind of like my personal spin. I like yelling at people, I feel sometimes, and that works out. My Indian accent kind of comes out a little bit too. So I like doing that a little, but it's really cool. Like we really dive down to what's working, what's not working, and how you can make money.
Awesome. And we'll have all of your handles linked below for people to reach out to you. So if they wanted to, let's say they made it onto your platform and they had a question to submit, do they just tweet at you or direct message you, or what? How should they go about doing that?
Totally. So if there's one thing that I've gotten really good at, it's managing my time on social, but it is me responding to you on social. So it's not like I have a bot or anything like that doing that for me, or
Nobody
like
likes that.
Yeah, or like a VA in India, like saying, hey, yeah, this is where you can. I'm also not going to upsell you on anything because, quite frankly, I don't do that. Right. So if you have a question, you're going to get either a video response from me and then that question answered on the show as well. So awesome. It actually is me responding.
Fantastic. That's like super tangible, and that's really not normal. Like you guys take advantage of something that you can definitely for his Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and all that good stuff. So so you also have a LinkedIn account that I know that you're really big on, and so they can connect with you there, I assume, as well. So
yeah, I totally forgot about LinkedIn. And then Anchor as well. You casually said, hey, you should totally do Anchor.
Anchor, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm back on that. So
awesome.
That's fun too, for sure.
Awesome. So we'll have all of that linked below for you guys. So just so many ways to connect to Abhi. So make sure you take advantage of that for sure. All right, so let's get into some really thought-provoking questions here. So and I started off with like a big one, like one that I know Tom Olson, the president of Good Success, he talks about this a lot. We've actually had a number of podcasts and videos, and he's talked about this at the mastermind several times and almost every event he goes to. I know he's presented on this at one of the Think Realty events, I believe in Atlanta of last year. So what is your on the current state of the real estate investing market, and where do you think it's going to be in the next 5 years?
So that's a really, really good question. Okay. I'm going to preface what I'm going to say with this. I was on a panel in Shanghai, and this was last, I think, September or October. And we were talking to investors from all across the world. There were folks from Denmark, from the UK, from Australia, from India, from Singapore, and then of course from China. And I was asked the question, are you bullish or are you bearish currently on the market? And there were a bunch of us. And the gentleman that was sitting to my left, he was a billionaire. Okay, this guy, legitimate billionaire.
Wow.
And I answered the question bearish. That's how my gut feel is about the market. He answered the question opportunistic. So I'm like, you were asked the question bearish or bullish, right? Where are you? And he answered opportunistic. And then I understood what he meant by that, because it doesn't matter in a bull market or a bear market, right? A bull market's market going up, bear market's market going down.
Mm-hmm.
There are always opportunities. You just have to find them. And we are in a seller's market right now, aren't we? Where you have the sellers kind of running the show, but there are still opportunities in a seller's market. We just have to get creative about how we find those opportunities. Where I'm finding the greatest success may not be where you might find the greatest success in Gary, Indiana, for example. Mm-hmm. But to answer your question, where do I think the market's going to be in 5 years? I think we'll probably see a little bit of a dip toward the end of 2019. The market right now, inventory, as you know, everybody, every flipper, every wholesaler, flipper, developer, new construction, whatever, whomever is having the hardest time finding deals.
Yep.
So inventory is super low. Interest rates are still relatively low. You know, when my dad purchased his house in Kalamazoo, Michigan, his first interest rate that he got was 14.5%, 15%.
Wow.
Right now, yeah, but that was the case in '79, in the early '80s.
Yeah,
we're a little coddled with our 4.25% interest rates right now. Yeah. So, do I feel like interest rates will go up this year? Absolutely. Should they? Absolutely. If we continue to suppress interest rates, that doesn't really have a good effect on the overall long-term stability of the market. And we also have to look at how borrowers are qualifying for these for their loans. If it's super easy to qualify, then we're going to run into the same challenges that we did in 2008, 2009, 2010. But if we keep that qualifying criteria rather strict, and we have a demand as high, inventory as low, we're going to run into a little bit of challenges anyway. And what I'm seeing in Atlanta, it's crazy out here. Like there's so much competition.
Specifically, yeah.
There's so much competition, and it's not only in Atlanta. It's Dallas, Houston, Austin, Chicago, Seattle, LA. I mean, you talk about the primary markets, even Charlotte, North Carolina.
Right.
Charlotte took itself off of the secondary market and put itself in the primary market hot seat maybe about a year and a half, 2 years ago, even when I was investing there.
Yeah.
And right now it's a challenge because I feel wholesalers and flippers are just making grave mistakes when buying because they assume that the market's always going to be up, which it's not. In my interview with Doug Duncan, again, the chief economist at Fannie Mae, he said, listen, toward the end of 2019, if there's going to be a correction, that's when it's going to be at the end of 2019. But he also said, don't violate your buying criteria because you have to buy or because that there's a bidding war at the steps. Don't do that. Don't be able to sleep at night. Don't violate your buying criteria. Just because everybody's saying that an ARV is say 350, but you're calculating the ARV to be really 300. But now you have the same wholesalers and the same flippers and the same agents saying, oh, you know what? It's going to be like that in 2 years. Heck no, it's not going to be like that in 2 years. You're banking your buying criteria on speculation. Who does that?
Yeah.
Right? You're not going to do that stuff. That doesn't make any sense. So that's where I feel the market is right now. I think in 5 years, I think in 2.5 years, we can start to see a lot more better buying opportunities because the market will be kind of out. Well, let me rephrase. The market will flush itself out, and the people that don't need to be in the real estate market won't be in the real estate market.
Right.
And then the sellers will say, oh, hey, you know what? I can't sell at $150,000, $200,000 anymore. Let's get a little bit realistic and sell for a little less. And that's the other challenge right now that I face when connecting with sellers. There's an automatic $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 premium just because the market is hot. And does that mean that I buy? Absolutely not.
Wow. So
that's a lot, I know.
Yeah. Well, one question that I have too is that, so one thing, okay, so we have a couple people that are in the Charlotte market that are in our mastermind, and then the Dallas market. So those are the 2 markets right now that we don't have anybody in the Atlanta market currently besides Eddie. Eddie's in the market, but he's not really an active real estate investor per se. But when it comes to those 2 markets, for people that are in our mastermind, they're saying that, especially Dallas, okay, because this is insane. I mean, when we're at the Think Realty event, there's just an insane amount of people that are thinking about getting into real estate, or maybe they've done a couple deals. What would you say to people that are offering more to these for sale by owner people? They're just offering more. And so it causes people that have businesses in real estate investing, whether it's wholesaling, fix and flipping, buy and holds, whatever it is. Like, how do you explain that to a person that their mindset is, well, I got to pay up so I can get the property? Like, it's almost like they're just flustered that they're not getting property. So then they go and spend more to buy the property, and now they're driving the prices up, and then all of a sudden the bottom's going to fall out. I mean, what do you say to people that have that mindset, as opposed to an actual analytical running numbers mindset where, hey, if I pay X amount for this house, am I going to make any money on this?
Totally.
I mean, what do you say to people like that?
Yeah, totally. If you're here, you can see the goosebumps that are on my arms.
It happens all the time here.
Man, okay. So I would say buy smart. Otherwise, you're just gambling. You might as well go to Vegas, spend a weekend, and lose all your money. Because I don't care if a deal is so hot and other people think it's good. That's why they're bidding up the prices. It doesn't matter to me. I'm sorry. I absolutely don't care. I'm not buying it. Yeah. I mean, that's it. You have to be smart about it. Acquisition, renovation should be no more than 65 to 68% of fair market value. Fair market value for me doesn't mean ARV, because let's be honest, you're not going to hit ARV 110% of the time.
Right.
It doesn't happen.
Right.
So for me, I'm looking at fair market value for that new construction deal, or for the fully renovated property. I'm willing to take a 10, 12, 13% discount on my ARV just to sell it, because I don't want my money tied up. I don't need to be constantly paying the carrying cost over time. That doesn't make any sense, just to make that extra 10, 12% margin. Stay true to who you are. Stay true to the type of investor that you are. I mean, Dallas, so Texas is in and of itself a little insulated from the rest of the country, I think. So I can understand why people will say that about Dallas, but don't let that jade your trajectory, I suppose. Like Charlotte's a little bit different. I mean, I like the NODA area, but you know what? I was buying a NODA when you can buy lots at 62, 65, 66, $70,000 a lot. You can't do that anymore in NODA. And I think now it's North Davidson area. That's like an old Fourth Ward, kind of like a hipstery area. And the same thing that's happening in Atlanta, you can't buy in NODA just a tear down lot for any less than $150,000, $160,000. It's not going to happen. So then we have to look at the path of progress. Where is it going to? Where is it growing to? And that's the Biddleville area. That's off of Campus Street. That's see where some of these microbreweries are, kind of the South Charlotte area as well. It's really good. But I would say stay true to your buying criteria. Don't be a gambler, and don't buy on speculation.
Yeah, because we even have you met Max Keller at the Dallas event, and he's one of our Good Success members. He's been with us since day one, and he even got to a point in the middle of last year where the deals were so dried up that he actually went out of state to start doing deals. And same thing for a guy that's in our mastermind who he does mobile homes investing. And like, who does that? Nobody does that. Yeah. And this guy does, and his deals were drying up. So he went over into the North Carolina market. And so it's just like, it's like, what do you do? Like, these guys know what they're doing. It's just that they can't fight. They can't pay up just because people that don't know what they're doing are paying up. And so that's such a tough situation for real estate investors, you know?
Yeah, it is. Otherwise, I mean, you could raise a bunch of money. You could throw down $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 on a yellow letter campaign and get that mailed out every single month. But I mean, to what end are you willing to go to find a deal that everybody else is going to bid on?
Right.
I guess that's a question that you have to answer yourself, right? Like I'm looking at secondary and tertiary markets. Birmingham, Alabama is a great example. I'm looking heavily in Birmingham to take a look at the rental acquisition. Huntsville, Alabama, the same thing. Macon, Georgia, the same thing. Noonan, Georgia, the same thing. So we have to go to these areas that people aren't willing to go to find opportunities.
Yeah.
And then I'm okay with not buying.
Yeah.
I'm quite frankly, I'm okay with not buying. Does that mean that I'm going to do less deals this year? Yeah. Does it mean that if I set up my buying criteria and I'm not going to violate it, does that mean that I'll do 5, 6, 7 less flips this year? Yep. Am I okay with that? Yep. Does that mean I'm losing money? No. Am I losing potential opportunity? Yeah, but I'm okay with that because I don't have to be stressed out and get my margin squeezed because it's not only the price point that's increasing, right. It's also the cost of materials, the cost of labor. So why do a $500,000 flip for only a 10% yield? It doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm. And we could go all day on this topic,
yeah,
but we got to move on. So the great explanation. No, I love that. And that's definitely a different point of view from somebody that's in the Atlanta market because, we've had people from the Atlanta market give us an input and everything, but that's good to hear. So, getting into some things that you are super energetic about, super passionate about. One thing that you even mentioned when you were introducing yourself is defining the difference for somebody between creating a real estate business and creating a real estate investing job. So tell us, define that. What's the difference in that? What do you say to somebody that asks you that question? I mean, or has committed to creating a job and you see that in them and you're like, nah, be stopping that. So, I mean, how do you define the difference between the two?
So we fall in love. I think everybody that is looking at getting into the real estate world, we fall in love with this idea that it's going to be this recurring kind of mailbox money. I'm going to have everything managed all the time type of scenario. Mm-hmm. And what that really means is that we've fallen in love of the idea of creating a business of real estate investing, but inadvertently, because we don't know how to build businesses,
right?
We are building a job for ourselves. And then we'll wake up 5, 10, 15 years into the future after doing 5 flips a year or 5 wholesaling deals a month or whatever it is to then say, I really hate this crap.
Yeah.
So that's the difference. Building a business, you can build a lifestyle. Building a job, you don't get to build the lifestyle because you're building your business around you, not the other way around. Mm-hmm. That is a huge challenge. And if we don't start paying attention to what that means to us from the very beginning, whether it's the investment personality, whether it's do I do 5 flips a year and call it that? Do I create a business around flips? Because those are 2 vastly different things. And maybe it's, am I going to do 5 flips a year and then invest with people that do flips every single month, that want to scale a business, and I'm just a passive investor? Because quite frankly, that's what me personally, that's where I'm headed. I've done the flips, tired of that world. I'm tired of, can you see all this gray hair, man?
A little bit. It's a little blurry, but you can see it.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's there somewhere. And that happened because it is just so crazy. You have to manage all these people. You have to go down to the city. You have to get permits. You have to meet with all the inspectors, contractors, the plumbers, and it's just a cycle over and over and over and over again. And so you wake up and you're like, this needs to stop, but I still want to benefit from it. So you have to create systems in place. Otherwise your business will run your life. And that's not cool.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And for good success, our education too, we try to push that side of it too. Cause I love that you talk, we've actually not had much topic on that specific subject. Yeah. It's so interesting. Even when we go to these Think Realty events, I mean, it's geared towards real estate investors that are trying to build their real estate investing, I guess we'll say it, a business. But a lot of these people, that even when we're there and talking to them, they either haven't done a deal or they're just getting into the deals, and maybe they've done a few here and there, but a good chunk of the people there actually do have full on businesses. But when you're dealing with these people, like, they don't know that. They don't understand. They're like, they may have come from like an engineering background, and
Yes.
they didn't build that business. They've worked hard at it, and they're hard workers, they're savvy, but do they understand how to build a business is the biggest question. And they just completely overlook that component of it. And it's so sad to see people that have such potential with possibly growing that business, and it just flops because they don't understand systems, they don't understand processes. And guys,
Absolutely.
like in our mastermind, we have not just real estate investors, active investors in that room. We surround them with people that help build the business. So we have a CPA in there. We have an attorney in there. You guys have heard Josh Belk. We've had him on the live podcast here when the new tax law came out last year. And so we had him on here. He's in our mastermind, and he's there to educate us on all that stuff that nobody wants anything to do with, but they need to know it. And
they need to know.
And Gary Harper with Sharper Business Solutions, he's on there. We're going to have him on next week. And he's all about building the processes and systems and stuff like that. And he understands how to facilitate a business and make it into a well-oiled machine. And he's very good at that. But a lot of people just overlook all of that stuff. And they just think, oh, I'm just going to do deals and deals and deals and deals. And then all of a sudden they got a snowball and they got some momentum. And then all of a sudden it just falls apart.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you're jumping into, if you're at a point in your life where you say, listen, I'm willing to take a look at real estate investing because it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
That is so awesome. Like, that is congratulations, because you've made that decision. You've made that commitment. You're listening to the stuff and you're absorbing it.
Right.
But like you said, the key word here is overlook. If you're overlooking that initial process, man, I was just kind of writing something down while you were talking, and your overlook kind of inspired me. So if you're just starting out, like, have something as simple as this, right? You have your lead. Okay, let's see if you have your lead that comes in, right? You got the lead that comes in. It's going to come in through some type of Google form or some type of Podio input form. So you got the lead. Have that go to a CRM. Don't have that just go to your email, right? Like, it's one thing to say, build out a landing page, and then for everything that comes in, I want it emailed to me. Don't do that, because now you're stuck checking your email. Nobody else has access to your email. So if you want to have a virtual assistant help you with that, you're either going to have to give them access to your email. They're going to have to document that lead information somewhere, or you can route that through Podio.
Just get a CRM. just get a CRM. You got to capture that data. That data is gold. Absolutely.
So gold. So you got the lead. That's the CRM right there. It's Podio or some type of Google Sheets where anybody has access to it. Boom. Next. Who's going to take that lead and do something with it? Is that going to be you, or is that going to be a VA? And then I just have pointing that to R, which is results. That's a very basic thing that if you're just starting out, get a landing page, throw that puppy, that lead, throw that baby into a CRM like Podio is a really good one. YouTube has so many good training videos on that. Or if you're just starting out, if you are a little intimidated by that, hey, no big deal. Put that into Google Sheets using Google Forms, and then you have other people that can look at that lead when you're not looking at it. That's how you start building the foundation of your business. Otherwise, you're going to be, what's going on? Sorry, that's going to be your life, and you don't want that to be your life.
Yeah, that's somewhere you don't want to be. And like we said, I mean, you could have so much potential to build an actual business and help a lot of people out, and you create something great, but you got to understand this is a business that you're building. Businesses don't just operate on, I think I made this appointment with this person. I have this contact in my email and, all that stuff. That doesn't work. You have to build businesses and systems into those businesses. So yeah, awesome stuff. So fantastic. Now, talking about staying on the subject of real estate investors, how can somebody create passive income that's an active investor? In our mastermind, we have a lot, like I believe everybody except for maybe 2 are actually active investors. And a lot of people that we come across, whether it's on our platforms or at Think Realty or wherever, they're all active investors of some sort. Now, passive income is a totally different story. Passive income is something we should all be striving for. And I love Tom Olson, our president. He actually last week at our city hall meeting, which is another business thing you should be implementing if you have employees, he talked about passive income with the employees, and it was super helpful. it's something that's not new to me specifically, but it helped a lot of the employees. And obviously as an employee, a lot of times passive income may not be something that you feel is tangible, but it is. It's so tangible. So for an active investor, how do they create passive income?
Great question. If you're an active investor and you're not paying attention to passive income, you're like failing at life. Like you're so failing in life.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't even tell. You bad. just bad with my blue mark. Bad. So I would say this, you have two ways to do it. You're an active investor. You already have all the contacts and everything. You got wholesalers. If you're a flipper, you have wholesalers, you have agents, you have other contractors that can be sending you potential rental deals, and you know how to structure property management. You know that property management is going to cost you 6 to 8% a month, right? Do it. The exact same criteria that you're using, say, for your flip game, turn that around and start buying rentals. So you do 2 flips, you take the proceeds of that. You're not going to go, if you're a guy, you're not going to go buy like super expensive watches. If you're a girl listening to this, you're not going to go buy that Chanel bag or whatever.
Nobody cares, guys. Nobody cares. It's cool for 2 seconds.
Nobody cares. Like, you don't understand. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
I know, like, there was a gal that I saw, I think in Dallas, and she had this like huge Louis Vuitton bag. I'm like, what are you doing, man? And I told her, I'm like, why'd you get the bag? She's like, I like it. I'm like, okay. Please don't be attached to the bag, because that's a totally separate philosophical decision. But you realize that the money that you spent on the bag, you could have used to invest in a wholesale deal. Like nobody cares about the stuff that you have. Right. Like nobody. You know who cares? Your bank account. Like that's who cares, because you're going to see your unless you have the passive income to pay for all this stuff, your bank account will take the hit. You'll see the car note for a nice BMW 5 Series and the insurance for that puppy. That's not cool. The gas, the maintenance. That's an issue.
Man, you're going to get me going on this. You better stop right now.
No, it's like for me, right? Like I'm your like a super low budget guy. Like, I don't get me wrong. I like nice things, but I don't spend a lot of money on shirts. Like, I'll go to J. Crew and they have a sale and I'll buy a shirt for like $30 or $20 or whatever, right? Like, I don't mind paying a little bit more for shoes because I'm going to use them for 5 or 6 or 7 years.
Right. If you're going to use them for a long time, it makes sense. It's logical, but.
Yeah. Like, one of my buddies just, he joined a shoe club and it's like $80 a month. I'm like, why are you doing that? You're killing me, bro. Like, don't do stupid stuff like that. You don't need it. And there goes your passive income, right? Like, see you later. Like, bye-bye.
People might say, it's $80 here, it's, $20 there. Guys, it's compound. It adds up.
It's so compound. So getting to the active investors, right? I'm going to keep drawing stuff out for you. You have the active investor piece. And if you want to consider real estate, I shared this in the Think Realty kind of VIP coaching session that I did on Sunday. So you have your real estate and your business, right? So if you think about it, you're an active real estate investor, and I think this might be backwards for you, but I think this is an R and it's a B. You can see that.
R and B, we got it.
Cool. You're doing flips. Nope, you can't even see me talk. There you go. You're doing flips. Got it. You need to reinvest. You're going to take that money and reinvest it back into your flip business. Got it. Cool. You're going to take a portion of that and you're going to invest it, say, in a non-real estate related business, or your single family rentals, or a syndication for multifamily, or some multifamily deal. Mm-hmm. Okay. So you're going to take your flipping business, you invest back in your flipping business, that can grow. Take a piece of that and invest it in a business, whether it's a single family rental business, invest with a buddy that that's doing that, or buy your own property.
There's plenty of opportunities out there for investing. So you get anywhere from 7 to 10 points, like right off the bat, and or 2 to 5 points, and then 9% interest or whatever. I mean, it's all out there. Or
if you're like me, you can invest in other businesses, which is what I'd love to do, whether it's a plumbing business, whatever. So then you have that business. Can you see this? Yeah, we got it. that business obviously will reinvest in itself. Some of those proceeds you can invest back into the real estate business.
Mm-hmm.
And I like taking only a distribution from here. So I don't really take a distribution from my real estate business. And that's how you create passive income. If you're not paying attention to you have to be living in a hole if you're an active investor and you don't have access to potential passive income opportunities, whether it's related to real estate or not.
Right. Yeah, that's another thing too, is that like, that's why networking is so important, is because you open yourself to not just people that you might be doing deals with, like wholesaling them a deal or, fix and flipping with them or something like that. There's also tons of real estate, investing opportunities. I'm sorry. So, I mean, when it comes to a strategy of networking with somebody, how do you go about doing that when it comes to, like, say you want to create some passive income? And I know the answer to this. I invest with a couple of other companies that, and including our company, I invest with, and it's just insanely easy. Like, you don't need. People think that you need hundreds of thousands of dollars to do it. Now that's nice, especially if you're getting 9 points, or 9% on your money. But you have to have that much. You could have $1,000 and do it. So I mean, how do people find these opportunities? Like, how can people go out of their way to actually find these besides networking and creating relationships?
Yes, I love this stuff. All right. The only thing that you need to do is go have a daily radio show.
Everybody go get a daily radio show right now.
Go get a daily radio show.
Put Abhi on it.
Yeah, pretty much. I look great for the microphone on radio, by the way.
Radio face, huh?
Radio face. I mean, I think that's part of it, right? One, do guest podcasts. Well, let's totally back up. Let's totally back up the train here. Do a couple of successful real estate deals. Mm-hmm. Use that, leverage that as content to become an influencer. Once you're an influencer, or you are in the making of becoming an influencer, have a personal website. Yeah. I'm allowed to get away with having a Gmail account because, quite frankly, I don't at this point, I don't really need a whole lot of people to connect. And that's why I'll go to networking events and I don't take my business card, right? Yeah. I just don't, because I have Josh, and Josh says, hey, here's an opportunity. So I've built that over the years. But when I first started, I created my personal sites really, really well. You have to spend money on that. If you're not spending money on that, then hustle until you do. If you're already an active investor.
So you're saying build a personal brand, correct?
Build a personal brand.
Okay. That's a totally different topic we got to talk about, right? Okay. But we'll get to that soon. That was what our 1 hour breakfast was about in Dallas. So totally. So you got to work on it. You need to make sure people know who you are and what you do and what opportunities you can provide or what opportunities you're looking for. But we'll get into that a little bit later.
Yeah.
We'll bring you in on that. I promise.
Okay. Yeah. So build out a quick little website, even if it's like Wix right now, just so you can kind of get going, fine. Mm-hmm. But use that professional email, good headshot on LinkedIn, start working on your social handles. Provide value. Like, I'm going to beat this into you. Like, value. That's why I'm doing I'm answering 5 questions a week on video, right? That's why I have a daily radio show. There's a podcast that I do. I'm about to do another daily radio show here in Atlanta. So all that stuff just kind of coming together gives me what? It gives me a little bit of clout, but more importantly, it gives me access to people like you, Josh, people that are listening to this. They're like, hey, this Abhi guy, he's drawing weird stuff. He's like,
he knows what he's talking about.
And then you'll reach out and you'll say, hey, let's do something. Yeah. This is my form of networking. So put yourself out there. Yeah. That's the number one best thing you can do for yourself.
Absolutely. And we're going to stop there because that's something that we definitely need to have another conversation about in the near future. So,
oh man, that would be so much fun to talk about.
We're going to do it.
Oh. Jeez. All right, cool. Let's do it.
And we'll get Eddie on here with us too. So, because he knows what he's talking about. So, all right. So wholesaling is something that you said you do, and you're very knowledgeable in. Give us just 3 short and simple tips about wholesaling. Somebody that it could be something that's super high level or something that's very granular. Maybe for somebody that is already doing wholesaling and, they're doing maybe 15, 20 deals a year, or maybe somebody that hasn't done any deals or think about getting into wholesaling. Give us 3 tips that you've learned that's really helped you in the wholesaling side of the business that you can maybe give value to somebody else that maybe they don't think about when it comes to wholesaling.
Boy. I think we covered a big one, which was networking.
Yeah.
Don't be like the CEO of your single member LLC, because that's
that's a micro piece of content for me. I'm quoting that for you. So
yeah, that is so dumb. That is just so dumb. Like, just, oh gosh. Yeah, just don't do that. It just, okay. So that's like 1A. Here's 1B, the real good answer. And that is, if you have a deal and you're emailing, say me or Josh or whomever, and you're like, hey, check out my deal. Don't do this, okay? Don't do this. Do not give me only an address, a purchase price, and that's it. Because you know what's gonna happen to your little stupid email? It's going to go in my little spam folder, and then I'm going to go as far as creating like a rule in Gmail, right? Like a filter, so that anytime I get your stupid email, it's going to go right to my spam.
Yep.
Right there. That's where it's going, because that's its new home. But if you say, hey, you know what, Abhi? Listen, here's an address. Here's what's wrong with it. You don't even need a budget. Don't even worry about putting a budget together, because I'm going to send my people out there anyway. Right? So then you don't have to look like an idiot to me if you don't know how to put a budget together. No big deal. Just say, hey, property address, purchase price. Here's what's wrong with it. Send me pictures, send me video, send me exactly what's going on. Give me a walkthrough. It doesn't have to be like a 3D, anything like that walkthrough, but I want to see video. I want to see up the street, down the street, around the house, exterior, interior, any challenges the interior has, video and pictures, and give me comps, because I might be an out-of-state investor. And don't give me crap comps. And I think that leads to number 2, which is good comps. Okay, don't give me like comps that are 2 miles away from the subject property and in a totally different neighborhood and not the same square foot of the, don't do that crap. Okay, that's what's also going to get you on the spam list, and then you're going to get an angry voice, an angry video. This is not cool, bro. Good comps. So understand how to do good comps and how to find good comps. That's the second one. The third one is build a relationship with your buyers. Like, understand them, understand who they are, their families, get to know them, take them out to lunch. Don't expect anything from them, but create value for them. There's too much of this me crap going on, right? Like, even right now for the radio show, for example, I'll get people on LinkedIn saying, hey, can I be a guest on the radio? Can I be a guest on the radio? Can I do this? Can I do that? I'm like, I don't need your content. I can talk for 40 minutes on one word if I have to. Where's the win-win here? Create win-win opportunities for the other person, and then you're going to be taken care of.
Yeah,
like
that's such good advice too.
You know, like this happens all the time on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram. Like, hey, bro, can you give me a shout out here? Why?
No.
Like, I don't need it. Bad. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, find out what I like and then say, hey, you know what? I'm going to create value. Again, that's not being selfish. That's what I've been doing for my mentors and people like Josh, people like Eddie, people like Gary, people like all these people that are in awesome mastermind groups. What do I need to do? Do I need to walk your dog? Do I need to take out your trash? Can I clean something for you? What are you working on? What's the biggest problem, headache that you have right now? And I'm willing to work for free, baby. You can't beat that.
And that's so valuable too, because that happens all the time, especially like if you're on Instagram or Twitter, that spam stuff happens all the time. People message you saying, hey, can you give me a shout out? Or can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? It's got to be a give and take. Like, you have to provide value up front. And that's the thing you said is value. And that's super important when it comes to creating relationships. And one thing that you said is that it needs to be a win-win situation for both sides. I would even go as far as, I know for Olsen Group on our end, when we've wholesaled and even some properties that we managed or fix and flipped, we have a construction company. We've taken the short end of the stick on some of these deals because something slipped through and we bit the bullet to save the relationship And down the road, it happened to benefit us because that person says, well, this was your fault. And we said, okay, yeah, we'll take the fall for this. And, maybe we lost a little bit of money or something like that.
Yeah.
We didn't make what we were thinking we were going to. 3-4 months down the road, they're like, hey, I want to do another deal with you.
Totally.
And it happens all the time. So you have to be willing to take that short end of the stick. But on the flip side, it's like, you got to look out for yourself and back yourself off. Don't let people take advantage of you at the same time. But where it's common sense. Where the line is drawn, but it's got to be a win-win situation for everybody. And it's creating that relationship by providing the value to somebody is going to build that relationship even stronger than what it is. And I think that's so key and valuable when it comes to doing any deals.
Yeah, totally. I mean, you're hitting, this could be like another 2 video series.
Podcast. Yeah.
Totally. I mean, it's if you're not building the relationship and if you're not giving value, like, holy cow, like, what are you doing in life?
Yeah.
Like, seriously, like, stop asking for help and start giving it. Like, even now, right? Even now with Real Estate Deal Talk and everything that I do online, I could easily say, hey man, you know what? Let's go ahead and buy this, buy that, do this, do that, do this, do that. But I don't because I genuinely care about the betterment of investors.
Yeah.
So if wholesalers started thinking like that, if flippers started thinking like that, we do this all day because it's ingrained into our DNA, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not saying don't sell a service and don't sell a product, but sell at the appropriate time. Yeah. Don't try to like close me on a first date, bro. Like, that's not cool. Like,
you gotta look at it that way.
You gotta win me over here a little bit. You gotta wine and dine me for a sec. But you know what I mean, right? It's creating value, building the relationship, making me feel or making Josh feel that we're valued and continuing that. And don't just stop that because now, hey, you've gotten the value. Keep putting that value in front of folks. Even for the radio show, for example, I don't only do the radio show. It's the follow-up content. It's, hey, here's how we can win together by let's work on building a content stream from this one audio that we've done. And let's back it up. Here's how we do it. Here's a sample blog post. Like, I did that for my buddy John Wiley.
Yeah.
One of the brand ambassadors. There we go. Brand ambassadors for Think. And I'm like, hey man, I think you're super cool. He's been a pastor for 30 years. He really knows how to like kind of tweak your mindset a little bit. Yeah. I'm like, I totally need that in my life, but I'm not going to approach it like that. How can I get 15 minutes with him every month on the phone? Okay, I'm going to write an article for Inman on one of the Think Realty radio shows that I did. Full on article, especially for him, which is exactly what I did. It's going to be published, I think, in the next week and a half or two. And he's going to be totally blown away and surprised. John, if you're watching this, you have an article coming.
Hopefully he's watching it.
Hopefully he's watching. But that's how you build value. And now I'm using the credibility to give him a lever up and saying, hey, I was featured in Inman and here's what I'm doing. And that's how you create the value. And you keep doing that not once, but you do that twice and 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times. And then that just really brings everything full circle into the future.
Yeah. Awesome. And that's just so invaluable. Again, we could go forever on that, but we're running out of time. So I got one more question. So last and final question here that I have, and this is the big one. This is the one that, if you're thinking about getting into real estate or you've done a couple deals, I know we've mentioned that a couple times in this podcast, you need to be listening up. And thank you guys, first of all, for joining in on the live stream here. And I appreciate Abhi taking the time to be on here with us. Make sure you guys are sharing this around. Leave a comment below for us. We have a bunch of links below for Abhi and all of his social platforms handles and then some of his websites. And then also make sure you guys are leaving some likes. So like the video and everything, share it around, and we appreciate that. So final question here. So if a person that is thinking about getting into real estate, or maybe they're already there, they just started, they're a couple months into it or whatever. If they were to come up to you and say, Abhi, what do you wish that you knew when you first started into real estate? What do you wish that you knew that you know now that you could have done differently back then?
Boy, I would say focus on who you are being as an investor. And that is loaded. Like, because we're human doings, right? Most of the time we're human doings. We don't even, we take the being part and we just throw it out the window because it's, hey, let's do this and let's do this and let's do this. And we have like this list of things. We've got, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, and we forget to be. And focus on the type of human being you are, and also focus on the type of human doing that you are. Understand to a T, like understand so like surgically everything about your investment personality, because it starts there. If you don't figure that out, you're building a mansion on sand, right? Like you need a really good foundation to build on. And that foundation is you. Don't let anybody tell you to invest in something that you're not comfortable with. If you like Bitcoin and if you want to check that out, cool. I don't understand it. I'm not going to invest in it. I don't understand stocks. I'm not going to invest in individual stocks, but I will take a look at ETFs, exchange traded funds, because it's a good diversification play. Right? Bonds, mutual funds, no load mutual funds, or low load mutual funds make a lot of sense. I'm a huge fan of futures and managed futures, so I understand that world pretty well also. But that's because I'm leveraging what I know about myself, and I'm leveraging my comfortability. Understand your level of comfortability. Understand who you are, who you're being, what the type of human being you are, the type of human doing you are, your comfortability with real estate. And it might not even be real estate, right? Like, why does it only have to be real estate? Why can't it be a startup? Or I want to start a business that's catered, that provides services maybe to the real estate world, or maybe to the healthcare world, or to whatever. It doesn't have to be real estate, but every good businesswoman, businessman diversifies their investment strategy, and it includes real estate. So you don't necessarily have to change toilets at 2 o'clock in the morning or anything like that. You do, however, need to own long-term stuff. So I think if there's one thing that I could change, I would say fail more and get connected to more people, and be shameless about that. Like I would be emailing Josh. Like if I'm 19 years old right now, or 16 years old, and I'm watching this video and I'm like, hey, I need Josh in my life, right? Like I need his haircut. I need that goatee. I need Josh in my life. Then you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to find out who you are, and I'm going to figure out some way to create value in some way to have you in my life, whether even if that's like 5 or 10 or 15 minutes a month, right? I should have done more of that, because then I would have had a larger network of people. I have a pretty large network right now, don't get me wrong, but I would have done that because it would have helped me find me sooner. And it may not make a whole lot of sense right now, but when you reach the destination, wherever the destination is for you, you'll know what I mean. And so trust me and go do that. And if you have any questions about it, get in touch with me, or get in touch with Josh, because he and I talk about this stuff all the time. But focus on you. The more focus that you put on you, the better it's going to be. And don't chase the deal because you have to chase the deal, or because you have to do a deal. Screw that. Do it because it makes sense and because it's you.
It's so funny that you even mentioned that, because we were on a live podcast with Jeff Johnson, a guy in our mastermind from the Charlotte market, last week. And I asked this question and he said the exact same thing. He literally said, I wish that I would have just dropped everything and networked. He specifically said that. He's like, I wish that I would have gone out of my comfort zone and just gone and networked with more people and done that. Like, that's the one thing that he says. And so that's such a statement that needs to be ingrained in everybody's head. I mean, I'm 24 years old and I wish I was doing this when I was 16, 17, 18, 19 years old.
Yeah. Hey, man, it's your world. I'm just living in it, man. You know, like I want to grow up to be like you. Sheesh. Like you're dominating everything.
Yeah, my haircut.
No, I can't rock that haircut. I have too much hair. Look at this. Is too much.
Yeah. But make it happen. Like, that's just, is that real?
No, it's so real, man. I have wings.
Okay, good.
See if you can see the wing.
We got it. Yep.
Yeah.
Man, that's some good locks there, man.
But yeah, I mean, I just to stay focused, understand who you are, exactly what Josh is saying. Have fun. It's not serious all the time.
Have fun.
And just like we're laughing, we're having a good time. What I appreciate about you, Josh, is you are the exact same person, like on air, I guess, or on this video as you are in real life. Don't be the person that has a super exuberant, awesome like personality when you're listening to them, and then you meet them in real life and they're like a sewer. Like, don't be that person.
Yeah, absolutely. There's way too many of those people. And it's the same thing for you. I mean, you're the same person in person and on here, on the radio and everything. And one thing that I said when Jeff mentioned that last week was get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because not everybody is comfortable with being social. They're not comfortable with going out of their comfort zone. It took me a while to come out of my shell and just be willing to just jump into a conversation at a networking event or some kind of a meetup group and just say, hey, my name is Josh Culler. What do you do? And introduce myself. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Once you've done it 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, you'll be fine. And it's going to be 100% worth it. You guys have heard this so many times from us. And something that Tom Olson likes to say a lot is your network is your net worth, but it's not just your net worth. It's your survival plan as well. Yeah. Because if something happens,
oh man, that is
the people the people that know you and the people that you're going to be able to leverage that in every way, shape, or form. And so it's just it's something that we have to do on a daily basis. Yeah, I have to connect with people. I literally have on my to-do list to connect with 10 new people every single day, whether it's on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook. I don't care, and it's changed the way I talk to people. So many relationships been created.
Yeah. Oh gosh, you shouldn't have brought that up, because now there's too much to talk about.
But we're out of time, so we got to.
I do have something for you, man. I do have something for you.
Okay.
I love you, man. You make my world go around, man.
Send me that in the mail, please.
You got it.
My address when we're done.
I'm going to sign it right now.
Awesome. So, Abhi, man, thanks so much for being on the show here today. Look at that. That's a beautiful
sign. That's baller right there.
All right, I'm gonna send you my address so you can mail it to me. All right.
Yes, you got it, brother.
Make sure it goes out tomorrow morning. But anyway, so Abhi, man, thanks so much for being on the live stream today. We appreciate you on here and taking the time to do that. Such valuable information, guys. Go back and listen to this. This is going to be published later on today as an actual podcast. So take this, listen to it multiple times. Just so much invaluable information. I know that we talked about a few different topics, but they all intertwine with each other in some way, shape, or form. So use this to your advantage. Connect with Abhi. We left all of his social platforms below. So connect with him, send him a direct message, tweet at him or whatever. Connect with him on LinkedIn. Make sure you guys do that and take advantage of that and connect with him. So Abhi, thanks so much for being on, man. We appreciate it, and we look forward to having you back soon. We're going to talk about personal branding with you.
Man, I cannot wait.
I just scheduled it in my head.
Dude, that is going to be epic.
It will be. We're going to get a couple of people on here that know what they're talking about.
Yeah, let's do it. That's going to be so much fun. Thanks, awesome. Man. I appreciate you having me on.
Yes, sir. So before we let you guys go, so what happened is, like I said, we're going to release this as a podcast later. So we are on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Anchor. Make sure you guys go check that out. We'll have it all linked below, tons of links below. So make sure you guys check all of them out. You guys subscribe to us on there. Leave us a review. Let us know what you think. If there's somebody that you guys want us to interview on the Facebook Live interviews here for investors, let us know. Send us a direct message on any of our platforms. We'd love to hear from that. And if you want to be on here as well, let us know. And then also our Good Success Mastermind. Abhi, we're going to try to get him to come to it in May. If he can't come in May, we're going to get him in there in August. But I've already told him that I'll show him around Chicago when he comes up here, show him the spots and everything. So Good Success Mastermind, guys. Go to goodsuccess.com/mastermind to find out more about it. We get elite real estate investors from across the country into one room and collaborate and just help each other grow our businesses. We talked about our businesses. And we don't just let everybody in there. Everybody that's in there does a high volume of deals. They are elite investors in their space, but they're also just fantastic people. It's a big family, a community that we have. We vet everybody's character. So you guys will, when you get to the page, you'll find an application there. Fill that application out, submit it to us, because we don't just let anybody in there. Anybody that beats their chest and says, I'm the best in the world, no, sorry, this isn't for you. So goodsuccess.com/mastermind. And then our community Go Giver event. Please, please, please go check this out. It's something that you guys have to attend. It is in July 25, 26, 27. We talked about networking. There's going to be an insane amount of networking going on at this event. We have a pretty heavy hitter lineup that's going to be speaking at here. It's 100% education, no sales going on. Absolutely no sales are welcome there. So education on just everything real estate. We talked about building businesses, and we're going to have Gary Harper there to talk about processes and all that kind of stuff. So, and business systems. So communitygogiver.com. We'll have a link below. You guys sign up. Early bird special going on right now. Prices are going to go up soon. And we only have 80 seats. So 80 seats are going to sell out. No more. Thank you guys for listening. And remember, whether you're looking to survive, thrive, or matter, our goal is to provide the tools to reach your vision. Thanks again for listening. And until next time, see you, Abhi.